Okay, so the sun was in my face, but now it's not as much anymore. So I'm thankful for that. I'm not complaining about the sun, but I'm just mentioning it because when it shines in my face, it's hard to see and hard to focus. And I don't want to move my desk. So I like where it is in front of the window. My goal is to get a plant or something to put on my desk so I can look at it every day and it can be pretty. So that's what I'm doing. Right now, I wanted to share really quickly what the Lord has me doing besides just this right here. So when I came before the Lord and I asked Him specifically what He wants me to do, I do that at the beginning of every year, and I just was focused on marriage. He has me focus on marriage still for those who are serious. You know, there are those who say they want marriage, but they're not ready to do the work. And then when they don't get what they want, they're wondering why, because they're not consistent, because they're not going all in. They're worried about the weather and how nice it is outside and going places and doing stuff. And there's nothing wrong with going places and doing stuff, but you have to make sure that God is getting as much time as you're giving out there in the world or even to your job. We slack sometimes where that's concerned. So, one of the things He had me do was start this 21 days of prayer for marriage for those who are seeking marriage. Just pray and seek His face. Not necessarily, well, for me too. I'm not going to say not necessarily for me, because I'm praying for those who are married so that any issues in their marriage would be dissolved, and for those who are seeking marriage as well. So I'm praying for both of those things 21 days, but I'm doing it on TikTok. And that's the press, because sometimes people don't want to join platforms for whatever reason, but the bottom line is this: the hungry travel, the hungry go where what they need is. And we're on day 5 as I'm recording this. And it's so interesting, right? That when you get thousands and thousands of people, Lord, send my husband, and they're commenting on your stuff. And then when it's time to pray, they're missing. They're nowhere around. And I try to post the videos early in the morning so if people are driving to work or on their way to work, they can listen at least before they get to work, or maybe if they get a coffee break early in the morning, they can listen then. But a lot of times people don't want to do that. They want to do their own thing. They want to do it their way. And when you're lazy about stuff, you're never going to walk in the promises of God. So I have a few girlies, maybe like 5. I can count them on one hand, who every day I know that they are coming, looking for the video, the next one, and they're liking it, they're engaging it, they're making the decrees and all of that. If you are not following me on TikTok, Miss Princess Dom, the same name as is on this account, MISS Princess Dom, and you can watch the videos from one and keep going to current and catch up. Here's the thing, as I'm praying, God is calling names. As I'm praying, God is breaking off stuff. As I'm praying, He's highlighting different things. And you don't want to miss it, because you don't know if what He's breaking off is what's blocking you in your life. We have to do more than sit and wait for stuff to come to us. To be a good steward of marriage and a marriage prophecy you might have received, to be a good steward means you have to put in the work. That means when other people are sitting watching TV, you're praying. That means when other people are out shopping and roaming the malls, you're praying and pushing in and pressing in to what you want to see in your life. Everything you see in my life, if you know me personally, if you've met me face to face, everything in my life was birthed in prayer. My husband, well, I didn't even necessarily pray for it, but God knew my heart because I had prayed for a certain type of man, and he's all of that. Okay, my business, right? My conferences, all of that was birthed in prayer. So if you think that pulling back on prayer or being mad at God is a manipulation tactic that you're going to use, you're sadly mistaken. My engagement account Well, my engagement count from January was at 3. So at the beginning, December, and in January, one person in December and two people in January got engaged. And then when March rolled in, another one. So the wedding count, the engagement count, I keep saying wedding count, but we're praying for those 4 women that they're going to make it to the altar and that they're going to have longevity in marriage. So that's probably why I keep saying wedding count. But the engagement count is at 4 right now. And I'm praying and decreeing that it will triple by the end of this 21 days in prayer for marriage. And it's good too. It's good. When you pray and you feel the presence of God and He's there and He's saying this and pointing out this and flagging that, that's what He's doing in this prayer. And if you are reserved in prayer, if you feel like you don't have the words to pray, dive into the prayers. One of the things I'm going to do so it's easier to follow me is I'm going to put day 1 in the comment section right down there. And when I do that, you can click on that. You can watch it. Then it's easy because you'll already be on my account to go to day 2, 3, 4, 5 and catch up to wherever we are when you are watching this. I pray that you pull away from all the things that are trying to be a distraction in your life and press in. Sometimes we think we're waiting on God, but God is waiting for us to line up, to get our lives together, to consecrate ourselves, to pray more, to fast, to really dive in and see what's going on in our bloodline. Some people don't know what's going on in their bloodline, and some people don't care what's going on in their bloodline. And if you have the curse of never being married in your bloodline and you don't break it, you won't be married. So you have to know these things. You have to be aware of these things. You have to investigate these things, and you can't just sit idly by and just let the devil do whatever he wants to do in your life. Pray to the Lord to shake you and wake you up and give you that zeal and fervor for the things of God back again, right? I want to see all the people connected to me walk into the promises of the Lord. And the promises that the Lord made was that this is suddenly married season, meaning that you're going to go from, I'm not even dating anybody, to meeting someone and getting married in a matter of months or a year. So if you want that to be your portion, if you are believing God for that, then you have to put some action, some faith to what you are saying you believe. Connect to these prayers. And not just that, let me get this really quickly. So I have a $7 ebook called Lord Prepare Me for Suddenly Married. I shared that on this channel before. If you have not taken $7 whole and downloaded that book, then you're missing out. It's helping people heal from childhood hurts, past relationship traumas, break soul ties, prepare them for marriage, and have them refocus on really what it means to be a Proverbs 21 woman. This also partners with it. This is the Lord Prepare Me for Suddenly Marriage journaling workbook. So it has 101 questions that you really need to be asking yourself about marriage, right? You don't want to wait until you get in the marriage to then say, well, Lord, how do I deal with this? These are questions that you probably never asked yourself. Nobody you know probably asked these questions. And as you sit down and begin to pray, hear what God has to say, and journal, then you are preparing yourself for when you walk into your marriage, that you're not blindsided by these questions and occurrences in your marriage or in your relationship. I also have a gratitude journal. Sometimes we complain and are not as grateful to the Lord as we should be, right? And this will help you daily say what you're grateful for. It says, today I'm grateful for, there's a date, And there's a place for you to just write what you're thankful for in this day. Whether it's that your coworker bought you a cup of coffee or that there was a refund in your favor, a check in the mail. We have to practice gratitude because that's when the blessings come. So whether you get one or all of these books and journals, I will drop the link to the website below where you can see them all and decide which ones you want to start out with. It's time out for this passive Christianity, but we have to be laser focused on what God is doing, because some of you, He is waiting to bring your husband so you can be that powerhouse for the kingdom of God. Are you going to be that, or are you going to sit back and wait? And here's the thing that I always say too. I tell it to my mentees, so I'm going to tell it to you too, because you're on my channel and I feel like you are a mentee to me. I want to mentor you. I hope I'm mentoring you with the stuff that I'm sharing and saying. You know, we have to get to the place in our lives where we love prayer. Why? Because when you are married, you are going to need prayer like never before. I'm not saying that in a negative way because of, your husband or who you're going to marry. But what I'm saying is that the enemy hates marriage, and you're going to need to know how to pray against that. You don't just get married and it's a la-la land. You get married and you pray against every obstacle and all opposition that will try to come up against you. Okay, so again, the ebook is only $7. The 21 days of prayer is free. The link is below, and we're on day 5 right now, and we're continuing to go forward. I also have other books and journals like I just showed you. I don't want anybody to be connected to me and they just don't get it. You don't get it, you don't understand it, you don't walk in the promises, you're still struggling financially. I don't want that for any of you. So if you're serious, share this video, but come on over and get that prayer, because it's going to bless your life. Amen.